everybody, and welcome to another episode of HP Critical, a podcast where my friends and I talk all things gaming. I'm your host, Jerel, and I am joined by Kellie.
Hi.
Brandon.
Yo.
And Gabe. Gabe, you have to say hi.
Take full advantage of the fact that this is the first video.
Yeah,
I'm camera shy.
So for anyone who's just listening, we are actually beginning to do our podcast as video cast, so you can check them out on our HP Critical YouTube page. They will be up after the audio version because, you know, I'm one person and I have lots of things to do. But it's really exciting to announce that we are also going to be live, not live, but on camera, so you can actually watch us talk a bunch of shit about video games as well as listen to us as well. Super exciting, super exciting. I love seeing all your beautiful faces. Honestly, yeah, you guys are just, like, adorable. Anywho, so let's jump right into it. What have you guys been playing lately? Brandon.
Phasmophobia.
Kellie.
Oh, well.
No, go ahead.
I'll go first.
Rude. Go ahead.
What? I didn't know you were going to call names. We don't normally do that.
I wasn't. It's just because I was looking at Brandon. Please.
Okay.
What have you been playing?
Phasmophobia, obviously, I'm still obsessed. But I've been playing this, the new Modern Warfare update for Warzone, and it's got Zombie Royale, and you die and you become a zombie, and it's really great. But yeah, Phasmophobia, it's my main game right now. I love it.
I'm really excited to eventually play Call of Duty with you.
Yes.
I'm gonna download it right after this podcast is over.
Okay.
Right after.
I'm ready.
Right there.
And what have you guys been playing?
Me, not too much this week. It's been actually a pretty busy week, so I've played when I could. But honestly, I've been playing more Legacy of the Duelist, just trying to get through the story mode. Persona 5 Royal, still trying to finish that up. And also Pikmin 1, I'm trying to finish that up before 3 comes out. At this point, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish 2. But that's okay. As long as I get through the first one, that's A-okay. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, I'm sorry, there was one more thing. I got the Mario Kart Live. I got the Luigi car right here, as you can see.
Yes.
So I just been kind of like playing around with that, just like driving around my house. At some point, I'm going to do like a stream for HB Critical where I just do like Grand Prix / house tour, I guess. So that should be a lot of fun. Whenever I get the chance to do that, I will.
I'm super excited for that. I told you guys before we started yesterday I was having a really bad day, so I bought one as well, the Mario one. But it's wrapped up for Christmas for myself. Yes. I'm opening.
Oh, is that when we were all ignoring you on
Yeah, when everyone was ignoring me in Slack. I was having the worst day. Everyone was ignoring me, and I just went and bought it because, you know, bad times. Gabe, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Animal Crossing, trying to get my island ready for Christmas. Dark Souls, because I like to torment myself. Brandon's laughing because we actually just finished doing Does It Hold Up episode where we played 2 of the NES's hardest games. Ninja Gaiden.
It's just I was enjoying Kelly's expression as you saying that you're doing Christmas.
It's October.
Look,
Gabe the type of man to really get into the Nightmare Before Christmas.
There's a lot of reasons why I skip over October, and I won't go into it because it'll take up the entire time.
Which Jerel doesn't want.
I don't.
But Animal Crossing, Dark Souls, Super Smash Brothers, and
oh my God!
We got an and.
He can't just let it happen.
Very
he has to be
soon,
cool.
I'm gonna start.
I know what this is. Okay, I approve.
This is a Final Fantasy VII, the remake. It was very generously gifted to me, I can shut my mouth up and stop talking shit about Final Fantasy.
It was.
Who knows? You might see a first-time Final Fantasy series on HP Critical later, where I play as this hot hunk named Cloud.
Cloud Strife is muy sexy. I will not lie. Not a sexy spirit, but or Tifa, whatever. Anyway, is that all you've been playing?
Yeah, surprisingly, compared to last week's list, it's a lot shorter.
The only thing I've been playing is Breath of the Wild, actually. So we're doing a trade because all I've been playing is Breath of the Wild. Also, for anyone who's watching this, I keep looking over because my dog is going crazy, so I apologize. Anywho, now that we have talked about everything that you guys have been playing, let's dive right into news for the week. So the first thing that I personally want to talk about is that Nintendo has patched out Microsoft's Steve's unintentional not safe for work victory pose, and this is coming from IGN for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Did you guys see that? his meat stick. That was you know,
all over Twitter and YouTube. Like,
I thought it was funny.
I couldn't not see it, honestly.
His meat stick was placed in a great position, and
let me just say real quick,
meat.
Because they did patch that to the fact where the meat just disappears now. But honestly, the patch makes sense because if he's eating the meat, why would it still be there in the first place? Like, it's not even the fact that it was in a weird position that it made it look like they were holding their meat. It's just the fact that they ate the meat and it was just there, like it was a cartoon. Like it was like some kind of cartoon where they're just eating, but the meat the cartoon meat doesn't change at all, even though they're clearly eating. It's like, well, how did this even happen? I'm
just looking at Kellie's face the entire time as we talk about meat sticks. I'm so sorry.
I can't help it. My face will be very distracting.
No, I love it.
I always have facial expressions. I can't help it.
Speaking of actually updates, Gabe, you joined Final Fantasy VII at a great time. If I'm not mistaken, there is a patch coming out, like either today or recently, which is really strange because the game has been out for a while. But I do believe that there's a patch coming out for it, so you're going to start at the perfect time. So speaking,
that says something about the game. Needs a patch this late.
Honestly, I'm not going to do this with you. I'm just going to move on to the next news piece because clearly you want to fuck with me right now. So the other thing that happened was we finally got to see Tom Holland as Nathan Drake in Uncharted.
Finally, man. Mm-hmm. That took a minute.
Wow.
That was a man.
It seems like you're also excited. That picture.
Like, he's really young.
Thank you! Thank you for saying it. Thank you.
Like, he looks too young. Like
to Nathan Drake. Yeah.
Be like in his mid-30s,
mm-hmm.
right?
I completely agree.
I think he looks good. I mean, damn, but he still is fairly young. And the thing is that he was just playing Spider-Man as a high schooler.
Exactly. Oh my God,
and now he's like randomly playing an older role. It just feels weird. Not saying I won't watch it. I'm just saying that it feels weird. It's not like. Unless they're going to continue it through his life, I don't know.
As well? Because it's an Uncharted movie, isn't it also like a Sony movie as well?
Oh, yeah. They don't want to pay anybody else.
Yeah, that's clearly why they had to cast him.
They're like, you're under contract, we got you for another role.
Yes,
so.
yes.
Yeah, he's right there, just like...
Just use him for everything.
I'm so happy that you said that, honestly.
Just have Tom Holland be for all the Sony exclusives for the movie. Not that Spider-Man is, but I mean, people associate him now with Sony because of the Spider-Man games, I guess.
But this is exactly why I have a problem. Because I think that Tom Holland is casted, like, overcasted. Like, I see this guy all the time. And I think he looks really great as Nathan Drake, don't get me wrong. I was like, damn, like, I can actually see him playing Nathan Drake. But then I also was like, Nathan Drake never was that young in any of the games that I played. And I appreciated him being, you know, an older character to play. Because, you know, I'm older. So, you know... I don't know where they're going with this. I think Tom Holland is wonderful, but I also think that he plays the same character a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'll be interesting to see if his Nathan Drake is just his Peter Parker, or if it's like, you know, a more serious role, or like obviously the Uncharted series is funny. And it has its moments, so I'm sure he'll play into that. But I just see him as Spider-Man cosplaying Nathan Drake. Right now, like, and everyone's like, "Oh, I see it," and I'm just like, "I gotta see." I see him acting.
I just really want to see a trailer. Now that we have this picture, the next thing I want is an actual trailer, because of course a picture can do a lot of things, but a trailer does like completely different things for like perceptions of like how a movie will be good or bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually.
Gabe, did you want to say something about him aside from the fact that he's hot?
I mean, no, but what you said about him being casted for everything, I think that's just like a general like movie thing. Like once a star takes off, you're gonna see them a lot more often. And also, this is from my memory, and my memory is shit, but I do think they said that this Uncharted movie wasn't necessarily gonna take place at the same time as the Uncharted games. I think they said it was like a telling of Nathan Drake's younger days.
Don't know if that's what I remember. Him being young,
I could be wrong, but
what did he do when he was younger? Cosplay as Tom Holland?
What? I was like, wait, what are you?
Like, what did Nathan Drake do when he was younger? I mean, you did play as him when he was younger, when he first met Grandpa Dude, whose name I can't remember because I haven't played this game in forever. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so I'm moving on. The next thing that I saw actually was that Sony has confirmed that Disney Plus, Netflix, and Twitch will all be on the PS5 at launch. So, with that information, I wanted to ask you guys, with last generation, or rather still the current generation, before next gen, Xbox made a very big point of making the Xbox. What's this one called again?
Series X.
No, the current generation.
Wait, the one.
Thank you. The Xbox One.
Remember this?
I don't know.
It's so hard.
Xbox made a really big deal about making the Xbox One a full home entertainment system. Even with, TV pass-through, which is, at this point, the only thing I use my Xbox for. Anyone who is my friend will literally just see it with me watching TV. So, do you guys think that the next gen should really focus on being an entertainment hub, or should they focus on more games? Or how do you feel about having Disney Plus, Netflix, and Twitch on launch? Like, is that a comfort for you? Are you excited? Are you just like, I expected it? How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the I expected it. Like, it's very cool that it has all these like streaming platforms at launch, but I do want to make a point that with Xbox in particularly, that they made a big deal about all the streaming services at launch. Now with this, they do have a lot of launch services, like both Sony and Microsoft are going to have all these like launch services right off the way. But neither of them are like making a huge deal about it. Like, I think that at this point they both realize that people are going to be buying these consoles for the games themselves and not necessarily streaming devices. At this point, it's just like expected. So they're not really hyping it up because it shouldn't be hyped up, really. There are some consumers for sure that are going to be really happy about that. Like, honestly, I was pretty shocked to even see a Disney Plus button on the remote. Like, it's in there. Disney Plus has only been out for like Disney Plus has been out a year.
Yeah.
And they already got, and the new next-gen console got a dedicated button for that thing.
Disney Plus, yeah. I mean, the remote is really sleek looking, and I think it's a really safe bet with the, amount of subscribers to Disney Plus, especially with, COVID and games not coming out. Movies not coming out as they should. But also, it's funny that you say it's kind of expected because Switch still doesn't have Twitch.
That's Nintendo.
Or
they're behind.
Yeah, so like you say that it's expected, but then people complain that we finally got YouTube on Switch.
Yeah. Let me rephrase that because you're absolutely right. It's expected for like Sony and Microsoft because they've really been in this whole entertainment space for a while. Nintendo has, for better or for worse, really focused on the games and really been very slow at getting anything else besides that.
It's so funny. The only person I ever see using their Switch for YouTube is you, Brandon.
Is it true?
Like, you're literally the only
because
person.
It's in the living room, it's just easier. Like, all my consoles, like my PS4 is in my room. So if I'm in my room, I use my PS4. But if I'm in the living room, I'll use the Switch.
I just use my TV, or I like SmartCast to the TV from like the iPad or something. But it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, in my opinion, the Switch is not an entertainment hub, so I don't use YouTube on there because it's like the best you can get is what 720p handheld, right?
For handheld, yeah. I never watch YouTube videos handheld though. It's like,
and then the best you can get is 1080p on TV. When I want to watch a 4K video, like UHD HDR, I can't get that from my Switch. Sorry. How do you guys feel about next gen and having all the entertainment stuff and not focusing on it?
I mean, I think the remote is kind of silly just because I pretty much use whatever system I'm using for a game, I'll just switch over and watch TV on it. So I guess if you're only using the thing for TV, which my Xbox is pretty much only TV now anyways, but I still have the option just get on a game or get on the apps. I don't know why we need something different for that whenever the apps work pretty well, I thought.
To me, the remote, I think, is not even for like the average person is going to be, especially at launch, the average person is going to be buying a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series SX for literally the games, right? Mm-hmm. And the entertainment is like separate. But honestly, the remote is like for like, let's say like, I don't know, a kid buys themselves a PlayStation 5 at some point after launch, and then that becomes kind of like their Blu-ray / I guess Amazon Fire Stick for all their streaming stuff, and then their dad or mom that doesn't play games just wants to watch, I don't know, Disney Plus or Netflix or whatever. They have that remote to access to them because, I mean, it's becoming a lot less common now. Like, the need for a universal media remote for a console is becoming less and less necessary because more people are starting to kind of figure out how the controllers work to access the streaming services. But there's those stragglers out there, and at least the remote looks nice for those few that need it.
Personally, I want a remote because a lot of times I don't like to. Actually, it's probably faster using your controller. But...
It's way faster.
It's way faster.
It's way faster. I would never use that thing personally.
Unless I guess you can press just Disney Plus or whatever on the remote. That would make sense. But like all you do is like click 3 times and you have it. I don't see why I would. Well, whatever. If the remote was cheap, I guess I would probably do it. Have they announced the price? I didn't see it.
Yeah, and I don't remember what it was. I'll check right now, actually.
Because I mean, that's pretty cheap.
Oh, you can get it for $30 at Target right now, which is not bad.
Well, then that's fine. Okay.
I
retract.
I want to be able to, like, if I want to use my PS5 as a central hub and, like, you know, the kids are here and they want to watch, you know, Disney Plus, I don't want to give them my beautiful white controller at all because children hands are disgusting. In which case, I'd be like, here's the remote, watch what you will. Gabe, before I move on, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I have 2 things. The remote does look silly. It kind of looks like an Apple mouse.
I think it looks so good.
It looks like an Apple mouse to me. That's what it looks like to me.
I mean, it's definitely sleek.
I guess
it's sleek, but and then I think the other thing, Jerel, you said it earlier, was how the Switch didn't have
apps.
It didn't have streaming apps, and I think like for the basic Nintendo fan, we were expecting, you know, just a gaming console. But the thing is, like, I dropped something. But there was an actual outrage of there not being any streaming apps on the Switch. So I think, you know, I think the controller is kind of bringing in light, like, hey, like, this is what we're gonna have. You don't have to worry about not being able to stream anything. So
I think it's just nice to know that they have it, honestly.
Yeah,
because
it's a nice confirmation.
For a while, I would watch Twitch exclusively on my PS4, so it's nice to know that I can just tune in to Kellie's stream tomorrow, Friday the 23rd.
Sorry.
What?
Okay.
It was an alarm to tell me to work out, but I worked out earlier.
Oh my god. Anyway, Kellie's stream tomorrow, Friday the 23rd at what time?
I hope I get out at 1:30 tomorrow, but I don't know.
Sometime tomorrow, which check out our Twitter. It will be on there, as well as Brandon and Marissa streaming tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Eastern.
What are you guys streaming?
We're streaming Sonic Adventure 2 and going to Pumpkin Hill because we freaking love that level and it's Halloween, it's spooky.
And then Kellie's finally starting Outlast, and it's going to be really cool because she has some cool cosplay planned. Oh my god, cat.
Yeah, I think we're going to start with Outlast, but I'll probably switch to Phasmophobia just because I'll be scared. And I need, like, to play with other people and not be scared.
So speaking of Phasmophobia, there was an IGN article that said Phasmophobia developers are working on a fix for hackers who have been spawning in even more jump scares. Kellie.
Yes.
Seeing as you're my Phasmophobia expert, have you seen or witnessed any of the things that people have been trying to hack into the game, and how do you feel about this?
So there are lobbies, and whenever you're searching through, which I normally create private games because I play with like a certain group of people, and I usually just don't want to go into random lobbies because people can be douchebags. Mm-hmm. So whenever you scroll through the lobbies, you see some of them have been modded because it's only four people, but some of them, like, they'll have it listed as 100-person lobby. What? And you'll see like it's like 100 out of 4. And from the pictures from this IGN article, I mean, they have like over 100 ghosts chilling there.
In one house.
That's in the main lobby of the game. That's not even in the game. That's like where you click play.
Mm.
So that's not even like in the game. I don't know how they got the ghosts there. I mean, I guess with cheats, but it's just like it's not even literally in the actual map. That's just like in the area where you are before you even play the game at all.
It's been crazy. Like it's like when people cheated on Fall Guys. I was like, why do you cheat on Fall Guys. Like, it's not like the point is to have fun. Like, why are you hacking into Phasmophobia? It's already scary enough as it is. Okay, don't like add more jump scares. I think that, you know, the anticipation of that jump scare is a part of the game, and then, you know, having so many kind of deters from that fact. But that's just my opinion.
It's a PC game, so you got to expect like some of this. Like, people will just get into the code and like change what they want. I mean, people have been doing it forever. I think it honestly kind of makes it fun because you can't do that on any other platform. Like, you can't do
so
that,
you're okay with
you know?
PC hacking? Well, actually, those games that Gabe plays, you can do hacks for on PS4 and Xbox One.
Really?
Yeah.
What games?
The Bethesda games, I think it was. Skyrim, they added mods and stuff for PS4 and Xbox
Oh,
One.
you can use mods, but that's not hacking.
Oh, yeah. Well, people hacked Fall Guys on PS4.
Those were cheats.
Oh, yeah, but it's
my god, I don't know what's going on.
It's really easier to hack a PC game than it is a console game.
Yeah, because you just have the file right there. You can like just get into it.
I'm learning so much. A hack is not a cheat.
A cheat would be like to win, but I guess you could call a hack a cheat, but I wouldn't consider them the same thing. The cheat would be like to win. I don't think that this would really be a cheat for this Phasmophobia thing, just because it doesn't really make sense. Like, you're not going to win with 100 ghosts. It's just going to be more scary. It's like a hack into the game, which I guess you could call it a mod, but I don't know. I usually use mods that are like from the community on Steam. So I don't really download like black market mods. We're gonna just not do that.
But where's the fun? You gotta figure out if it's gonna crash your PC or not.
I have mods on Arc, but I don't use mods on anything else.
So
it's not for cheating. It's just for like, you know, being better at the game. I'm joking.
Yeah, sure. So before I move on to our console caster segment, there are a few more current gen things that I want to bring up. The first one was, I think it's here, my PS4 Black Lives Matter theme. So PlayStation released a free PS4 theme for Black Lives Matter, and unfortunately, that got a bunch of vitriol and nonsense over it. Like, there were literally people who were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna cancel my PS5 pre-order because of the Black Lives Matter theme, and I was like, please cancel that shit immediately. Like, give people the chance to, non-racist people, the chance to be able to grab a console. Yeah, like, if you're racist, drop your pre-order right now so that my friends can, you know, get a fucking
let me know
PS5.
what store it was, too, so I can go to that store's page and get my pre-order.
Like, me and Gabe, we're still suffering over here, so, like, let us get them.
But the reason I brought it up is because I think it comes back to the conversation of gamers just being super toxic. And I want to ask you guys, like, why do you think we're going into a new generation? It's a free PS4 theme that you don't have to download if you don't want to. Like, that's the big point. And all of these companies have expressed their support for Black Lives Matter. Like, Nintendo's done it, Xbox has done it, PlayStation has done it. Why do you guys think that gamers are so toxic? I know that's just a general
question.
It's a general question. Like, why did this happen? Like, I know you probably can't answer it, but like, in a short form, like, why do you think, like, for gaming, it's so bad as opposed to other media?
I think it plays along with kind of like every time political issues are brought into other things. Like, as soon as LeBron James said, like, it's I know the stretch is very far, but like as soon as LeBron James said something about, you know, just basic human rights and basic social justices, someone decided to be, hey, shut up and dribble. Yeah. So I think it's something similar to this. It's like, oh, I'm playing my video game. I don't want to know about, you know, political issues going on in the world. Just say you're racist and shut up.
But there's so many games that are sorry to cut you off, but there's so many games that are political anyway. Like, gaming is a political space.
People are so small-minded that they can't figure that out. Like, they won't, like, they'll just play a game like, oh, yeah, this game was fun, but they won't take the time to, like, oh, this, you know, the the idea of the game seems pretty realistic. And it's just people with big heads trying to get their voices heard because they don't like something because they weren't loved as a child.
Ellie and her girlfriend have sex. Oh, that might be a spoiler.
Yeah, wow, good job, Jerel. Good job.
I mean,
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Really early.
I mean,
It's really early.
I wasn't
It's
thinking about
really
it.
early.
I'm sorry.
That's
Okay,
one
whatever.
even
Well,
bigger
I
spoiler.
said it, so I won't spoil anything else. But like, The Last of Us 2 is probably one of the most played games of all time at this point. Like, it's super popular.
Yeah.
Ellie has sex with her girlfriend, like in that game. That is a clear political statement, whether it's intended or not. That we think that at Naughty Dog, we think that this is normal. We think that this is okay. This is how people lived, so it's put in our video game. And there's even a scene where people are like, I'm not gonna spoil anything else, but there are scenes where people don't agree with that, and that's a part of the game's. Is that a spoiler?
No. What I'm thinking though is like, people don't even want to see that if it's the end of the world.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
The world is ending,
mm-hmm.
and someone's just trying to get some.
Mm-hmm.
How is that like? Isn't that like the epitome of like what would happen?
Yes.
Everybody would just be like, you know what, fucking zombies.
Exactly.
I don't care. Let's whatever. Like,
exactly.
I mean, really though, wouldn't that be the most realistic thing? But people are like, that's unrealistic. Like, I think it's very realistic.
Exactly. In our spoiler cast that I had with Brandon and our special guest and friend Wesley, one of the things that I mentioned that I didn't like about the game was like one of the characters is just like, oh my god, gay people, and I'm like, bruh, there's literal zombies outside. Like, I'm sure there are more things to worry about than Ellie kissing this girl. Like, you can walk outside and get eaten, like mauled and murdered. The last thing you should be worried about is her kissing some other girl, bro. Like, get over it. There's much more to be done here. Like, did anybody else want to hop on this before I move on?
Really quick, but I think that's Naughty Dog's way of like showing you like no matter what's going on in the world, like Kelly said, like no matter what's going on in the world, there's gonna be those douchebags. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think it's a hive mentality thing, but I'm gonna shut up now before I keep going for another hour.
No, but it's true. Like, honestly, I don't know how some things are considered inherently political. Like, playing as a woman in a video game, like, keep politics out of games. Like, women exist. Hello. Like, how is that political? Putting a woman as the lead in a game. I don't like how everyone says like, oh, that's like, why does it have to be inherently political? Or if there's a gay character, how is that a political stance? Just a character in a fake world doing something that's not real. I don't know. People think it's political. I just don't understand how just living your life somehow is political.
I'll piggyback off that real quick just to say this. Anytime, especially in video games, this happens a lot in video games especially, but it's inherent in all media. Anytime something happens that is not, hasn't really happened in a lot of video games, whether it's a female character, a gay character, a person of color is your main character, whatever, people are so quick to use the word political just because it's something that they're not used to, and they don't actually view it for what it is. And like, and the problem is a lot of people say, oh, but it breaks my immersion. It's destroying my escapism. I don't want to think about these things. But like, it's like Kelly said, it's like everything that you see in these games, like everything I just said, exists in the world. And games, as they evolve, as they try to reflect real life more, try to reflect that. Like, a lot of people don't feel like represented in this world, and games are attempting to do that. And it's not even the fact that it's not even like necessarily that they have to even. Because another thing that people will often say is like, if a gay character appears in a game, someone will be like, well, where's the justification for this? Like, does it need to have justification? Yeah. Gay people exist. Like, you don't need to justify that.
They might be fairy tales. I'm not so sure. I don't know. I've never seen one in real life.
Right? Oh, I
don't know, bro.
Honestly, and we've been playing as straight male white
forever,
characters.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. As soon as anything different, anything deviates from that sacred text, it just
what's more realistic than a gay character? Sonic the Hedgehog.
Clearly.
Blue hedgehog getting rings. I don't know. Anyway, sorry,
Can't forget.
I went off. I'm getting hot now.
That one guy. Sonic exists.
It's crazy. Yeah, and
Oh,
actually,
God.
when we start console casters, I do want to bring up when we start talking about our launch lineup for next gen. I actually want to see how many of those games have non-white male characters to play as. I think that'll be interesting to look at. But speaking on kind of on the same topic, with player issues, Sony had revealed recently that the 8.0 update for the PS4 would allow people to record conversations so that they could be used to send in as issues for safety concerns or like anyone who'd been griefing them. And this became a huge topic recently, and everyone was like, oh my god, Sony can't record us. And then they came out again and they said that that PlayStation is not going to be constantly listening to you like every day all the time, but you would be able to, I believe it was 20 seconds of the clip. Let's see. Players can submit 40 seconds of a chat conversation, primarily focused around a 20-second clip for moderation reasons. So that and it says also players will only ever have access to the last 5 minutes of chat, and once submitted, Sony's consumer experience team will analyze the chat for possible action. So basically, if you're in a chat with someone on PS4, and this is also, I believe, rolling out to PS5, if you're on a chat with some asshole who probably had a problem with the Black Lives Matter theme, they'll probably have a problem with me, and you talk to them and they have an issue, you're able to record that conversation and send it in for moderation. I think, personally, having been heckled in my life multiple times, that this is great. And I know that people are concerned that, oh, Sony's listening to us. I had my Kinect plugged in all the time, and I was like, I know Microsoft has taken all my information at this point. Facebook has all my information. My iPhone has all my information. Like, my information is out there. Not to say that I'm not concerned about that, because it sounds really bad when I put it that way, but the last thing I care about is PlayStation listening to a party conversation that I have, because in certain situations, those conversations can become, a thing that needs to be taken action against. So I think this is better than just, having no proof at all. But what do you guys think about this?
I mean, I've been I've been harassed, I'd say, in online chats before, but I don't really know, like, I guess if someone was threatening me, I could see how it would be helpful, and maybe you want to like report them for something like by recording it, but I don't really understand like what are they really doing to me? Like, if someone wants to call me names or say I'm a woman or something, like, okay, like, wah, get over it. I throw insults horribly back to people.
Yeah.
And pretty horrible stuff. I won't repeat it. But so like, I wonder like, where would the line be drawn between like, you suck or your mom or that, and then like actual threats of violence?
Yeah.
Or, obviously racial slurs or other like derogatory slurs, like clearly that's probably where the line is drawn, but yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I just don't know, like, they're not able to like threaten you. They're not going to come to your house and hurt you. It would be nice to report them for hate speech, but I just don't know, like, I don't know. I guess people should just watch what they say. I would never say anything like that, so they can just not, say motherfucker, whatever,
Yeah.
That's a good one for anyone.
You're right. It works always.
There are plenty of things that you could say that aren't, like, particularly offensive to someone. So I guess just, get creative with those comments now.
Yeah.
To avoid getting reported.
Yeah, I think there's a line, obviously, and I think trash talk is fine, which is why, if someone's giving you trash talk and, it's submitted and it's not actionable, you move on, right? But I do think when it comes to, like derogatory terms or racial slurs or something, I do want to be able to, especially with a game like Overwatch where you report someone and nothing happens. I think being able to report that person and be like, hey, here's 15 seconds of them calling me racial slurs and homophobic slurs, like constantly, something that I should not have to deal with on my game. that being actionable with proof, I think, is much better than, because if I'm like, hey, this person said this, this, and that, and I'm not streaming and I'm not recording it and I can't back it up, and like PlayStation is like, well, we have no evidence, there's nothing we can do, and then that person starts to heckle me again, then they start messaging me, they start messaging my friends, it becomes harassment to a point, and there's nothing I can do about it. I think at least now I'm like, hey, bitches, here's the shit they've been saying to me, like, I have it here. This is a serious business. Like, I have proof now. This is actionable at this point. Like, what are you going to do now, like, going forward? And I think not only for us, but I also think for Sony, for PlayStation, it puts them in a position where they're kind of forced to do something, And I think that's why I like this a lot, because before, without proof, I can say over and over again that this is happening, and if they don't do anything, there's nothing I can do. But now that I have the proof as well, I can take that to my social media. I can move this up the ladder. I can go past just handling this person on my own, because I literally have proof of what they've been doing to me. And that's why I'm like, this is great. And I understand, like I said, people that are just like, they're gonna be listening all the time. They said they're not, and that's all I can say for that.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
Not really. I just think it's, like Kelly said, for a lot of people it's going to be quite unnecessary, but for those few that really do feel like they've had like an awful experience online, I just think it's nice for them to have that option to be able to just call it out.
I don't think it's gonna be not unnecessary for a lot of people. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't usually talk to people online that I don't personally know, so I'm very much not the demographic of this. I will readily admit that, but yeah, that's for a lot of people. I'm sure that this will be great for them. So
I am
good on them.
Gay. I am black, and all the people I play with are usually girls. So our party chat is always just full of like craziness, and every time that there's a random, I swear to you, I will have to use this almost every time. Luckily, I have thick skin and I'm not worried about it, but
wow.
lots of times I avoid, and so do they. Like, we literally will avoid going into chats just because of how toxic it is, and a lot of times it doesn't even matter what the game is. We literally did a Call of Duty launch party for one of these Call of Duty games. I don't even remember which one it was. It was really cool. We were at GameStop. Everybody was chill. And as soon as we got on at 1 a.m., I suck. As soon as we got on, just racial slurs left and right because of my kill count. And I was like, what the fuck? Everybody was just so nice in person. At GameStop, you get home and you get thrown with randos.
They won't say it to your face.
Exactly.
That's really what it is, because I swear, if someone tried to talk to me the way that they do online, I'd be like, you're about to catch these hands.
Exactly.
I'm not doing
exactly.
this. But you can't do anything to them in real life.
Mm-hmm.
If they're on there, it's just keyboard. Oh god.
Yes.
You guys gotta tell me when my mic is muted, because I tried talking.
Oh my god!
Ago,
just don't mute it.
And
Just don't
the thing
mute
is, it was an accident. I didn't even know it muted itself.
Okay,
Anyway,
I thought you did that unintentional.
the thing
I was
is,
we haven't heard from him.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I want to put some input, and then I look, I'm like, why are they not listening to me?
Oh my gosh, Gabe.
And then I looked up at the screen, I was like, oh, I'm muted. But no, it was something that Kelly was saying was where do you draw the line?
Mm-hmm.
And then, because the thing is, for example, this was a while ago. I was playing Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is one of the worst
toxic
places to have your mic on or whatever. And some kids, I was destroying this kid with a shotgun. He's like, oh, you freaking suck, you're a loser, use a shotgun, and then called me the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, first of all, you shouldn't be saying that, but I'm Hispanic, so you're wrong anyway. He goes, all right, you stupid beaner. So I'm like, okay. So then I proceeded to go ahead and make fun of him, because he sounded like a little kid. And I made a bunch of your mom jokes, because that's the best way to get to a kid is you say jokes about your mom. And he started crying.
Oh my god!
I'm like, hold on. So it's okay. It paints me in a bad light, but that was my intention, because my thing is, if you're gonna come at me, you better be able to get what you're giving, but 10 times hard, because I'm that kind of person. So he started crying, and I'm like, whoa. So you get to insult me repeatedly, but as soon as someone says something to you, it's not okay. He goes, yeah, but I'm not having a good time. You keep shooting me with the shotgun. I was like, dude, then just don't suck. And the next thing I know, I'm getting a notification from Call of Duty that there's a report against me.
That is the thing, though, about that recording, too. If you insulted him for 20 seconds, he only records what you've said, even if it was a retaliation.
True, like, and that's exactly why you have the opportunity to do the same. So, like, as soon as that person is... but also, so not only do you have the opportunity to do the same thing, so like as soon as that person called Gabe the first name, that's when I'd hit the record button, right? But then also, that person, knowing that this is a feature, might decide to censor themselves before they say it. So like, maybe. Obviously, if they have something to say, they're probably going to say it anyway. But it does add, I think, a little bit of accountability to people. So that it's not as easy to, well, obviously it's still easy to insult people in whatever way that you want, but hopefully knowing that this is a feature going forward, it might help out with that. But also, you know, one more thing that you said that I will correct is that you can be Black and Hispanic, just saying. Race and ethnicity
and the thing
is,
if you look at my family, my father's side of the family, my father included, they're Black. And so one of my close family members, I can't say because I'm not allowed to, is also Black. So
I don't understand what's going on. Like, why you're not allowed to.
No, I'm saying, like, I wasn't saying earlier that you can be either or, but like I was just saying, like, my my dad is Black and my mother is white, and I came out like toothpaste.
Okay, I was just saying. Brandon's eyes just went like, what?
but like that's another thing, though. Like, if he can record my insults and use it against me while I record his insults used against me, to me, not knowing, but seeing how a lot of like this stuff, how these big corporations play it out, nothing is going to get done because it's going to be like, oh, well, you insulted him too, so you were also in the wrong. So I feel like for a very long time, it's going to be a back and forth of like, all right, none of you were in the clear, so we're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, so but then that's still better than you getting... I'm just going to continue
to make kids cry.
There you go. It's better than you getting in trouble.
You know, kids shouldn't be playing Call of Duty anyways.
It's rated M for mature.
I stopped arguing that so long ago because the other day I went to Walmart. Not the other day, it was a couple of months ago before we weren't allowed out of our houses. I went to Walmart, and there was a kid who he was down to like maybe my mid-thigh, and I'm not that tall of a person. I'm only 5'10". He was up to my mid-thigh.
You're taller than me.
All right, mister, you're not that tall when I said it a couple of months ago. Anyway,
okay.
He was down to my mid-thigh, and he was like, yeah, Dad, this is the game I want. He's like, oh, it's Call of Duty. I'm like, yeah, and I'm looking at him, and the dad looks at the box. He goes, what does M mean? He goes, it's made for us. And I'm like, what? And the dad, I went the same family. I was behind him in the checkout line, and the cashier's like, are you sure you want to let your kid play this? It's rated M for mature. And the dad apparently wasn't paying attention. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So I've stopped arguing that kids shouldn't be playing Call of Duty because no matter what you do, there's always going to be that group of kids that manage to get it.
But, okay, let's say he's insulting you, you record it, and you send it, and you're like, this is a kid. Should he really be playing Call of Duty? Maybe that would work on your side.
Yeah.
You know? Get these kids, they're playing, turn them in, get them kicked out.
And then
kids out of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And now not only are they crying because I talked about their mom, but they're also crying because they can't play Call of Duty now.
My
it's
God.
a win-win-win for me.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Can we have kids servers? Can that just be a thing? Like, we'll just make servers for only kids. That'd be great.
It's called Nintendo.
Seriously though.
Honestly,
you guys all
yeah.
have
Parental
Nintendos?
controls are extensive.
No, yeah, I don't even want to, like, there is no voice chat on Switch, and I was so ready to complain about it, but then I was like, whatever. Like, Anyway, so I'm gonna move on a little bit, just so we don't get stuck on this really quick. So, something that I saw recently was that advertisements were added to NBA 2K21 in the loading screens, and you're unable to skip them. Gabe, how you feeling? I see you're feeling some type of way over there.
Every year 2K comes out, and my thing is every year it's the same stupid game. There's no reason in buying it. Every year they do something that makes me not want to buy the game even more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand 2K is one of the two only, basketball games. The other one being NBA Live, but NBA Live just sucks. I don't know what happened in that game. It's just actually horrible. But then, first of all, you were one of the first games to announce yourself being the price hiking up for next gen.
Yep.
Yeah, if you didn't know, for next gen you were paying $70 for the game. 2, you're also one of the few games that you sell your standard and your legendary version at the same time, and the legendary version is literally just you have a different cover and you get like an extra 5,000 V-Bucks or whatever the hell. V-Bucks is Fortnite, my bad.
Okay.
VC coins or some shit.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
VC coins.
So then now your game's already stale, but now you're gonna put unskippable advertisements. Like when we say we want the real basketball experience, we don't mean we're actually watching the fucking game on TV.
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, okay, commercial break, I'm gonna go grab a drink or something. No, the controller's in my hand. I'm the player. Stop giving me advertisements I can't skip.
The guys in the game need a break. The characters, they need like to take a water break, you know?
Pause button. There is a timeout option in the game.
And having
You can manually put timeout.
to press plus anymore, there's ads right there.
There's ads right there. Which is, I think it's going to be interesting because isn't 2K21 also coming to next gen?
Yeah, it's you
And
pay
so-
$60 for now, $70 for the next gen version.
And so loading times are going to be basically nothing. So what are they going to do with their ads?
That's their loading times.
Yeah, but like we're not going to have much loading time if everything we've been seeing is correct. But anyway,
Got a point.
Yes, they force the loading times to justify the ads, or worse,
Oh, they-
you see, or worse, you see the loading bar at the bottom screen, and it's done. You see the game is loaded, but the ad
they
isn't finished
force the
yet, so
ad?
it just keeps going.
there is a game, and
Oh,
I can't
now I
remember
want
what
them to
game
do
it
that. I want them
was.
to do both.
I
Put the
can't
loading bar
remember.
and the ad.
I can't remember what
You
game
gotta
it
see the
was.
firestorm.
But there is a game out right now this gen that they made the loading screens longer because they were too short. And I don't remember what game it was. If anyone who's listening remembers, please let me know. And I will bring it up on the next podcast. But there is a game out that they were like, the loading times were literally too short, so they extended
Wasn't
them.
it Ghost of Tsushima?
Is it? I think it was Ghost of Tsushima.
It was. I think it was too.
And I was like, that is
No,
not
it
a thing.
was because I think one of their explanations about it was like it was too short, but also it didn't give players enough time to read the tips on screen.
That's what it was. Yes,
Which makes sense.
that's what it was.
Well, that's crazy too, because I'm hearing that with the PS5 version of Ghost of Tsushima, the loading time is supposed to be like almost instantaneous.
Instantaneous, yeah. We'll see what happens. So one
Yeah.
more thing that I want to bring up before we move on to Council Casters is that Cyberpunk 2077 has full lip sync for every character, dubbed in all 10 languages.
That's insane.
I understand now why this game took so long to make.
Yeah,
Is,
no one else is doing that. No
like,
one else is doing that.
when I read that, I was like, that is unfeasible. Like, how
To
did
me-
you? Yeah.
To me, that surpasses what they did with Spider-Man for 2018. Because for those who don't know, in Spider-Man for PS4, they almost all of like Yuri Lowenthal. Let me try that again. Yuri Lowenthal had to record almost all of his lines twice because he had to do a take where he's just like, holding still or just like walking. And he had to do a take for a line when he's swinging as Spider-Man or in the middle of a fight. One where he's loud, of course, while he's fighting because there's loud stuff happening. And then while he's quiet. Like, so they had almost almost every single line done twice. That was crazy to me when I heard that. So the fact that this is getting lip sync in like, how many languages did you say?
10.
10.
10 different languages.
Yeah, that's a lot of motion capture and whatnot if that's what they're using. That's crazy. That's insane.
I was like, wow, this game is going to be something else, whether you're interested in it or not. And I know that it's very divisive so far, so we shall see. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, last thing before Console Casters, I know that I keep saying this, the last thing for real, is Alex Hutchinson.
True final boss. Oh, him.
Ooh, let me bag on this dude.
Yeah, roast this man. Go.
He is the creative director at Google Stadia. And actually, Gabe, would you like to read his tweet?
Yes, I would.
Go,
When I bring it up, give me like 2 seconds.
I'm going to read it.
No. Wait.
Okay.
Fight for this honor.
I got it. There we go.
You got it.
It was a threaded tweet. So there's two tweets. The first tweet says streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they used music they didn't pay for should be more worried by the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. Tweet number 2. The real truth is the streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use. Before we keep talking about this, I just want you to know Alex Hutchinson is the creative director at Google Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
Google Stadia.
Oh my God.
Google freaking Stadia. Actually, I'm gonna ask this on Twitter later tonight. I want to know how many of the people that listen to us are just random people. Who the hell plays Google Stadia?
It did not.
When you figure out how to get your own stupid little thing to work, worry about the rest of the gaming world, my guy.
So,
also, you're bald.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay.
I'm done.
Anyway.
I needed to make fun of him really quick.
I thought you had
There's
more.
nothing wrong with being bald.
I do have
I've
something
considered
to
it
say.
You went for a little bit more of a personal angle.
Yeah, that was like a personal attack, bro. Calm down.
It's a personal angle.
Calm down.
I get it.
Yeah, Kelly. Mm-hmm.
But realistically, his point is just like, I understand what he's trying to say, but I think that what he did not think of, because I mean, maybe too much air on his head from being bald. There's a reason that developers don't want to enforce, or publishers don't want to enforce streamers paying more, because they won't do it. The reason that we have like Among Us, I'm going to use that as a really prime example, because that game came out in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's only $5 on Steam. It's free on mobile. Without that game being played by streamers, no one would care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that game was not coming back on its own merit until some big person streamed it, and now it's back in a huge way. It's so popular. Everyone cares now. The same with like a bunch of games. Like Phasmophobia got popular because so many people were playing it on Twitch.
Yep.
I bought it because people were playing it on Twitch. Like, if you are gonna have a take like this, which is trash, I mean, at least like have it make sense. Like, why would the publisher enforce it on people that are pretty much free advertisements for their games?
Literally.
On sites, on streamers. That's like the point of streaming. You're getting people to play the game, and they watch you.
Yes. But, that is literally one of the best ways to get advertisement for your games. Like, this is the reason we have PR marketing for video games. Like, this is why we have people that stream games. Like, Square Enix is really, one of the companies that will reach out to certain streamers just to get them to play their games. We get impressions of video games because that's what we're interested in. Are you guys laughing at my cat?
Yep.
I was actually laughing at the replies to his tweet.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty good. They're
He's
good.
got some good replies. I was gonna supply to that. Yeah, the reason why games work better for like streaming or streamers playing them thusly is because games are, as a medium, of course it's possible to watch someone play a game and have fun, but games in their own are like meant to like be played. So if you watch someone play a game and then you see them having a good time with said game, then and if it's a game that looks like it might catch your interest, you're more inclined to be like, oh wow, I want that game for myself. I want to play it. I can tell you right now, The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, which ended up being my favorite game of 2013 and my favorite PS3 game in general, I had no interest in it before it actually came out. Then I watched YouTubers that I watched regularly play it, and I saw them play the game. It sold me more on that game than any pre-release footage ever did. I was like, oh wow, this is really good. Ooh. Then I bought it like 2 days after their part 1 playthrough because I was just so into it. And I'll give you another example. This is not a personal example, but this is an example in general. The Yakuza series would be dead without Let's Players because that series was struggling for a while in the West. Like, it made it all the way to 4, and there was just no interest. Then a group of Let's Players and streamers also started doing that game, and then more games started coming out on like a limited release. But then a lot of people were buying those limited releases, and people were starting. And then they were finally starting to release more collections. Now Yakuza's big. Yakuza's really big. There's a lot of people on Twitter or other social media that's talking about that series. That's a series that was completely saved in the West by streamers / Let's Players. So it's so ignorant of everything to just say that having that streaming games hurts the industry, because there's so many examples for me personally and just in general that you see out there of people that wouldn't have any interest in the game if they didn't see someone else playing it. It's advertisement, like you guys said.
It's free advertisement.
I'm gonna say something.
Technically,
mm-hmm.
Technically, I mean, if you think about it, in a way, the streamers are paying the developers, because advertisement, someone's gonna go out and buy the game.
Yeah. So
technically, that's 60 or however, I keep saying 60 because that's the base price for most games now. Mm-hmm. That's $60 in the developer's pocket right there. So
even a really bad game that a Let's Play or streamer is clearly not enjoying will get sold by people watching that.
I'm gonna say something that you guys may not agree with.
Oh.
And I'm not bald before I say this. So I think that maybe he didn't properly say what he meant. Hear me out, though.
Devil's advocate, go for it.
I'm gonna try to make it quick.
It's too late to delete the tweet, though.
It is too late to delete the tweet. So I kind of understand what he's saying, right? So when he says that we should be more worried by the fact that we're streaming games that we didn't pay for, it's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. That is not wrong. As soon as a publisher decides to stop working with you on it's the same argument with digital licensing, right? So anytime that we buy a digital game, and we've seen it happen before, anytime that you buy a digital game, if the developer or if the publisher goes away and you can't access that game anymore, I think it was Lego Harry Potter, I don't remember, there was a list of games where if you bought them digitally, you can't play them anymore. That is a thing that happens, and that
Lego
is
Harry Potter.
Okay, sorry, it wasn't Lego Harry Potter, thank you, it is definitely not, but it was in the same year, I think, as that game. Whatever, the point is, there are games that you can't play right now because, someone decided to not support that game anymore. You cannot download it anymore, you can't delete it anymore. If it's gone forever, right? So that's one of the things that we have an issue with when we talk about digital licensing. So that is, I think, part of what he's saying. But the other part of what he's saying that I think he is not saying very well is that when you are streaming a game, okay, so let's take music for example. If he's talking about music, when you're streaming music, the artist gets paid every time you stream that music. When you're streaming a game, the game developers and publishers do not get paid every time you stream that video game. Essentially, their revenue is going to come from hopefully people buying it by watching them, which is why I think people are all like, yo, what you're saying is stupid. But at the same time, he's technically not wrong, because when Kellie streams Phasmophobia, the developers don't get paid every time she streams it, right? But if she's streaming a song while playing it, that artist is going to get revenue from that song being streamed.
But when you're playing a game, you're playing it. Like a song is meant to be listened to. So if you listen to it, obviously they're getting paid. But if you're just watching me play Phasmophobia, you're not playing Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
But I bought the game, you're just watching.
Yeah.
Like a TV show, that's all that you're getting is a watch experience. So obviously, if you're streaming that, it would be illegal, like because of copyright and, like you said, licensing. Or like a song, if I hear it, someone should be getting paid. But with a game, like if you're just watching me, you're not getting the experience of the game. You're just watching it. There are more things to it. So like I said, I don't really think that you would need a license to stream it, because it's not only visual content. It's like I'm playing the game the way that I play. So I'm part of it. They're watching my part of it. They're only watching the visuals and maybe the sound from the game, but there's so many more parts technically to it that they're not controlling the entire experience, like with a show or with a song.
Yeah. No, yes, I cannot disagree with that. It is a different experience. Video games are a different personal experience, so you technically are going to get more out of watching someone play a game than you would, say, listening to a stream of a song. Sorry. Hold on.
I mean, even if that was what he was trying to say, everything you just broke down, it's still stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean, I still think it's a trash take because people want their games played. Like I said, there would be none of these games would be getting, like, you're paying the developers when you buy the game.
Yeah, comparing music and games is like comparing apples to oranges. It's just, it doesn't, like, when I buy music, I'm not the one singing it. But when I'm playing the game, I already spent my money on that game.
Yeah.
It's my game.
Well, realistically...
Until they pull it from you.
Well, people were also saying that Twitch should actually be paying some of these licenses and stuff rather than streamers because they make so much money, and that's another angle that people were going for.
Yeah, it's just, so when he says the real truth is streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the game they stream, they should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use. I think that, okay, this guy is the creative director of Stadia, and so for Stadia, everything is digital, right? So everything relies on licensing and working with publishers. And if you are working at Stadia and people are streaming for free games that they purchase, first of all, whatever. I'm gonna stop trying to defend him.
Yeah,
Moving
this
on.
Same guy, mind you, 4 hours ago said he was gonna stream Fall Guys, which isn't on Stadia, so.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
So moving
all the
on.
money he's made from Stadia, he should pay Fall Guys to stream their game. But
there you go.
That's not my business.
Well,
what money?
I knew it. I knew someone was gonna say it. Oh my gosh!
I needed someone to finish the joke for me.
I was not gonna be me. Anyway, so moving on to our console caster segment. As you guys, go ahead.
No,
are you reading more comments?
I'm looking at his tweets now, and like all of his other tweets have like this one has like 2 likes. And then, like, he, like, said something bad, and, like, it's just, like, people are just like, fuck you.
Yeah, I think it's always
a
bad
ratioed
take.
hard on Twitter.
It's because it's always a bad take when you're going against, like, the public. We've purchased this game, and you're trying to tell us that, like, we have to pay every time that we play a game that we own, that we purchase, which is always a bad look. Anyway, moving on to our console caster segment, we have Brandon, who is the Nintendo. So you guys all have nicknames that I forgot. So I'll say next time.
Nicknames. Yes.
I forgot them, so I'll say them next time. Anyway, so we have Brandon, who's representing Nintendo, Gabe, who's representing, no, it's too late, PlayStation, and Kelly, who's representing Xbox. I can't say just one, though. Do you have all of them? Okay, go ahead, please.
We never decided on mine.
Oh, well, can't do it now. We're running out of time.
Then we can't. All right. Darn,
anyway, so we have the 3 of you guys that are working. Kelly's like, what is going on?
I have no idea about a nickname.
Well, I can tell you yours. Yours is Xbox Expert because it works. I was like,
Xbox Expert.
Yeah,
I like that.
I was
like,
I need some alliteration for the nicknames. Xbox Expert was the easiest one, and it works so well. So you're Xbox Expert. So for our console casters,
find out Minds and Gabe's.
Yes, for our console caster segment, I want to talk all about the launch lineup. So the first thing that I'm going to say is, as of this recording, the Xbox is 18 days away. It's so close, and the PS5 is 20 days away. Also, really, really close. Also, got to request time off. I keep forgetting. But we are so close. We're only a few weeks away from next gen. I'm sorry, Gabe. I saw the head shake. We're working on getting you a PS5.
My plans are already. Look,
He's
you
a
think I'm
PS5
kidding? My plans already in action. I have 2 plans of action. Punch the kid at GameStop walking out with the new PS5 box, or the video, the TikTok I sent you earlier.
Oh my god. Anyway, so with so little time from between now and the release of these consoles, I wanted to take a look at the launch lineup for all of them. So Brandon, obviously Nintendo does not have a launch lineup, but I'm going to ask you to tell us what games are coming to both. Kelly's going to tell us what's coming to Xbox, and Gabe's going to tell us what's coming to PS5. So yeah, Brandon, if you don't mind kicking it off.
Here's the list.
Okay, so yeah, the ones that are new on both consoles are Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk 2077, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and Just Dance 2021 is the ones that are on both consoles.
That seems like so little.
Just Dance is going to be on Xbox?
Brandon can tell you that Just Dance is always on every console.
last year, Just Dance 2020, they had a Wii version of Just Dance.
Literally
2020.
last year
it was
into
just
Switch.
a PlayStation thing.
No.
Oh no, they get all the money from all systems.
Well, Dance Central was only Xbox, right?
Yeah,
that's what it was.
So I thought Just Dance was
PlayStation version.
But poor Dance Central is just gone, just forever.
Yeah, so there's also, for third-party games releasing on both consoles, there's also these games which are not new, which include Fortnite, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, you said Call of Duty, Dirt 5, Maneater, Planet Coaster, Warhammer, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition, and I think you said For Honor already? No. Okay, I said For Honor.
For Honor is coming to next gen?
You're welcome. So that's it as far as both consoles for launch lineup. As Brandon mentioned, that's only 4 brand new titles that are coming out for both.
Yeah, completely new for both those 4.
Okay. Now, before we go on to what's exclusive, how are you guys feeling about just 4 brand new games? That seems like a little.
It's expected.
Realistically, though, how many games can you really play? I mean, I feel like on that list there's something for everyone, you know?
For those 4, yeah, honestly, because there's a lot of people playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and there's a lot of people who are, if there's a new next-gen version of an Assassin's Creed game, they will not settle for the old console version. Like, the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was, only had slight improvements on next gen over its other ones, but there are people who would refuse to play Black Flag if they didn't get that crisp PS4 Xbox One version. They're not going to go to PS3 when there's a PS4 version right there.
Yeah, I just no, it is expected. There's not a huge launch lineup when usually ever, but even going into the end of this year, it seems real lacking. Obviously, it's not including Nintendo stuff, so, we don't have, Hyrule Warriors and all that great stuff. But,
And there are a lot that are releasing at launch, which was the list that Brandon was saying earlier, that might be coming to both later. Just at launch, they're on one or the other, like the Bugsnax, Godfall, and the Pathless. I'm not exactly sure. Well, it says that they're not exclusives, I guess.
Well, Kellie...
Yeah, they're not going to be console exclusive. No, wait, Bugsnax and Godfall are going to be exclusive.
Yeah, they're both exclusive. Would you like to, Kellie? Can you tell us about the Xbox Series X first party and third party games coming?
Okay, sure. So Forza Horizon 4 is coming, which I'm pretty excited about. Those games are really fun.
They're
driving
really
around aimlessly. Yeah, and honestly, that's what I do in GTA 5.
They're literally the Final Fantasy of Xbox.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun too.
I'm sorry, Brandon, because I see you making the face. What I mean is that Forza is the game that is used to display the new graphics on the new system. As Final Fantasy usually is the same thing, where it's graphics.
Forza games always look gorgeous, most definitely.
They're definitely. They look so real too. I mean, I don't know how they can get possibly more real.
Even better, right?
Yes. But okay, whatever. Maybe they'll just have different settings, so that could probably look better, I guess. So on Xbox Series X, the first party is going to be Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Grounded, yes, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. But I feel like Grounded, because it's already in early access, we already have had it for a while. Okay, I'm all right. It's also launching, but it's already out pretty much. But some third-party exclusives are going to be Bright Memory 1.0, Cuisine Royale, Dead by Daylight, which I'm guessing that will come to PS5 later, because that seems I don't think Xbox is going to have the exclusive on that. Yeah. Enlisted, Evergate, King Oddball, Manifold Garden, Tetris Effect Connected. I guess I could do Tetris game. The Tourist, The Falconeer, War Thunder. Is it Yakuza or Yakuza?
Yeah. Yakuza.
Okay. Like a Dragon.
Honestly, it's whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's either one, honestly.
Okay. I don't know. And yes, Your Grace. So those will be releasing at launch for the Xbox.
So just for anyone who's listening, the first 5 was it? Forza, Gears Tactics, Grounded, and Ori are the only ones that are coming. First party games that are coming to Series X, right?
Yeah, the first party games.
And for anyone who has not checked it out, Kellie actually played early access for Grounded and has a review up on hpcritical.com, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. Spoiler alert, she really liked it. So, Gabe, can you tell me yes.
Really quick before I read the PS5 ones, in case you need to understand my hate for NBA 2K even more, NBA 2K21 only has a free next-gen update upon purpose of the Mamba Forever Edition.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the more expensive one.
Yeah.
That's a low blow. Anyway, the first
By
game...
the way, I also apologize for stealing your thunder on the PS5 third parties. I was unclear in the directions. That's my fault.
The first party... launch release, I said that wrong, whatever, the games coming from first party on launch for PlayStation 5 are Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, can't wait, Destruction All-Stars, Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Now I will note there is 2 asterisks next to Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, and that means Marvel Spider-Man Remastered is only purchasable as part of the Ultimate Edition of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Almost as bad as NBA 2K21, huh?
If I didn't have the game already on PS4, I would have been pissed.
Yeah, but then it's not cross save, and if you don't buy this version, you won't get all the extra stuff, right?
And that's why I'm not buying... Whatever. Next. The third-party console-exclusive launch games for PS5 are Bugsnax, Godfall, and The Pathless.
That is a much shorter list than the ones over at Xbox. So, first question that I want to ask is, do you guys think that next gen needs a big launch lineup? Yes or no, and why? Or why not?
I think it's important for it to have I think when it comes to launch games, what's more important is the quality of the games and the quantity. Obviously, quantity is important before a launch begins because if someone's buying a new console, you want to have a lot of options right off the bat, right? So, but it's nothing if all those games are just if they're games that you would only buy because they're launch games, that's honestly not the greatest, to be perfectly honest. There's been some really good launch games, going to the Switch, it had Breath of the Wild at launch, and that's still that's a great game, regardless of whether it had come out the Switch's launch or not. And I think there's a few on both sides that are of a good quality. But of course, variety is important because not everyone plays every single game. Even the best game out there in the world may not be for every single person. So it's kind of a balancing act in that. But one thing that both consoles do get a little pass for this time around that they don't always get is the fact that they do have the backwards compatibility. And this time, their backwards compatibility improves their existing games that they already had on both consoles.
Yeah.
So if someone was thinking that it was in the mind to already get a new console and they're getting it, but they necessarily maybe they only had one game that they wanted to play on the new next-gen console, they can look forward to playing, if it's a PlayStation 5, they can look forward to playing all of their old PS4 games that now going to look a lot better. And then for the Xbox, you can get the smart delivery to get the improved version right then and there. So it's a lot easier for them to get away with it this time. It still should be some quality launches in there. I think there are some quality launches there, but it definitely could be better. There's been stronger launch lineups, but I don't think it's terrible.
Sorry, my dogs were barking. I agree with you. I think that it is a quality over quantity, and I also agree. I would have brought up the same point that this backwards compatibility this generation really makes up for it. Because I remember when I got a PS4, I literally had nothing to play. I had Resogun, and I was like, oh, wow.
Resogun is a good example of a game that you get because it's a launch game. I don't think it was necessarily a terrible game or a bad game.
Yeah,
but it's very much a game that a lot of people would. It's a game that a lot of people would have skipped if it came out a year after the PS4 launched.
Yeah, I literally only played it because it was the only game to play. So it's really cool to know that, because I still have a huge PS4 backlog, so it's really cool to know that those are available. Next question is comparing the... Let's actually... Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Why not? Let's compare the first-party games releasing at launch for Xbox and PlayStation. Who's the winner and why?
Ooh, comparisons. Let me have a look at this list.
Those are the ones that Gabe mentioned. We have Astro's Playroom, Demon's Souls, Destruction All-Stars, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Sackboy Big Adventure versus Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Grounded, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And the reason I do this is because Xbox has been really pushing Game Pass with first-party titles that are coming, and they really took a hit with not having Halo Infinite as a launch title, unfortunately. It was one of the ones that I was really looking forward to, so... I'll just go first really quick. I don't think, unfortunately, without Halo Infinite, I don't think any of these games can stand up to the hype that is Miles Morales or Demon's Souls.
I'm in a complete agreement. Like, they're both, like, of that list that you just said, they're both pretty solid. But yeah, Halo Infinite was that killer launch game.
It was the game
for this.
Yeah.
It really was. Again, I think I've said it on a previous podcast, but I do give them credit for delaying the game.
Oh, for sure.
To make sure it's good when it clearly was like a very important release for them. Mm-hmm. Because boy, that would have changed the whole tables, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that Grounded would have had a chance
if it
was going to be a launch title.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say if it wasn't early access.
Yeah. So if it was going to actually just be released at launch, I think it could compete because it looks good. It's got a lot of like the merit. It's something new. I mean, there's been Spider-Man games, but like Grounded was like something new, like giant bugs and spiders, and you're tiny. Like it was like fresh. It looked good, but it's out in early access, so now it doesn't feel new anymore.
Yeah.
And then so that's already a hit against it, and then also it's not going to be out until July next year? No, it came out July this year. I don't even know when it's going to be released. Is there even a release date? There might not even be.
It should be soon, being a launch title for the Series X.
I wonder.
It's just... And, Grounded, I think, is a really good example, because Grounded could have gone... Ori and the Will of the Wisp is not new, right? That one's the older one.
It's been on Xbox
One
for
if that were
on
new...
Switch now.
Yeah, if that were new, that could go up against Sackboy, for example. But even Grounded could go up against Sackboy, and Ori could go up against Astro's Playroom. But Gears 5, I mean, it's another Gears game. Gears Tactics is not my thing. Force is going to be beautiful. Grounded is the good game there, and then Ori is the old game. So it's
it's coming out day of the Series X as well.
Launch,
so that's the launch date. Yeah, I mean, I guess I should have from reading releasing at launch, but
yeah. And then PlayStation also has Bug Snacks and Godfall as well, and nothing on the list over at Xbox that I see is a comparison for either of those brand new titles either. Whee! But I'm done. What about the rest of this? I'm sorry. I was like, because look. So here's the thing, though. I'm super excited for the Series X, and I can't wait for Game Pass, and I can't wait for these the studios that they purchased to really start kicking in and kicking it up with these first party games. Like that is what I'm looking forward to. And all the games that I read on my list from a previous podcast, none of them are coming out yet. But when they do, I'll have them on Game Pass. So I'm still excited. I'm just like, what am I taking the day off for? Right? And it's clearly going to be Miles Morales and Demon's Souls and Astro's Playroom and Grounded. Because I haven't played it.
What will be like, do you think you'll play all of those at launch? Like, do you think you need all of those games that week?
Yes and no. Okay. No, I don't think so, because I mean it's a lot of games that obviously I'm not going to finish on time.
Yeah.
But yes, because I think there is a lot to be said for being a part of the conversation for brand new consoles, right? It's like Christmas. So when I log on to Twitter, I know everyone's going to be talking about Demon's Souls. I know everyone's going to be talking about Miles Morales. And I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, no, I just played Ori again." And Grounded is no longer in early access, so I can tell you what's new. Or hey, I'm also playing my huge backlog of PS4 games. But I do think, yeah, there's definitely something to be said about being a part of that next gen conversation. So that's why I say yes and no. So would I buy all of these day one and play a little bit of them and see what sticks and play through it? Hell yeah. Would I finish them all and be able to talk about all of them? Probably no. That's unrealistic. That's completely unrealistic.
That's the one.
That's completely unrealistic. I'll just jump back to Breath of the Wild because I probably still won't be done.
You need to be done with that game before November 20th.
And all of these come out before November 20th, so I can jump back to Breath of the Wild.
Anyway, I think PlayStation kind of cheated with their games at launch. They stuck in Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. To me, that's a cheat game.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't have put that in the list, but yeah, I think PlayStation wins the launch titles at this point. And I'm being completely biased because Demon's Souls is there.
I mean, that is a big one. Miles Morales is mine. Like, Miles Morales is the main reason I wanted a PS5 at launch.
Yeah, for sure. For a majority of PlayStation 5 players, the big game is going to be Miles Morales. But
sure, yeah.
As we've been seeing over the past couple of days, I like to torture myself with very hard games.
Oh yeah,
and Demon's Souls, like, I get to torture myself in 4K. Who doesn't want to do that? Like,
yes.
Torture.
And also, I will have to say, Astro's Playroom, like, I've played Little Big Planet, so I'm familiar with Sackboy. That's a very fun platforming game. Like, it's so well done. But Astro's Playroom it's kind of like, I've played the VR version on the PS4, and it's like, I'm saying this very, very loosely. It's almost like PlayStation's Mario Party, in the sense where it's just like, it's literally a game you play just to have fun, and you get to play with other people.
Astro's Playroom is PlayStation's Wii Sports. It is like, this is what the console does, this is what the controller does, this is what the haptic feedback feels like. That's what that is.
Yeah. But it's also like, for the younger people, it's not younger people, for the younger kids, it's a very fun game. Like, I played it and I'm well over 18. I'm not gonna give my age.
Oh my god.
I was like, where's
like, well over what, 5? Like, what's going on?
I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Let me just throw away my pinwheel hat.
At the next podcast, I'm gonna come dressed as a kid. I'm gonna have
Please do it.
Overalls on, a pinwheel hat.
Can we wear costumes next week?
It'll be Halloween, right?
It'll be right before Halloween.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, sure. Please, let's do it. I can't believe we just committed to this.
You just
you literally just said you're gonna be a kid.
Or yeah, Naruto. That's fine too.
I've done Naruto 3 years in a row already. I can't.
Hey, podcast viewers.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
The podcast viewers hasn't seen your Naruto. It doesn't have to be your Halloween costume. It can be just your podcast costume. You know, content.
That is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely feel like PS5 won the launch titles.
Yeah, I agree. Halo
really hurt. I agree too, but it's not all about launch titles, so we'll see how the console goes over.
Oh yeah, I see. Let me just piggyback off that real quick. I used to roll my eyes anytime a company would use the term launch window instead of launch title.
Yeah.
But I've come to really appreciate the value of launch window games as opposed to launch title, because, like Kelly was saying, you can't play every single good launch title game at launch. You could dabble a little bit just to be part of the conversation, like Jerel said, but you're not going to finish all of them. That's why I actually like Switch, in my opinion, had one of the best launch windows, in my opinion, because they came out with Breath of the Wild. That's a great launch game. You can just play that and be good for a while. And then the next month you had your Mario Kart, and then the month after that you had Splatoon 2, and then after that ARMS, blah blah blah. It just kept going. Like, there was a big game every month that first year. That first year was magical on the Switch.
I have to disagree with that.
I laugh because Brandon somehow made this Xbox versus PlayStation conversation into a Switch conversation.
It's just a comparison.
Yeah, and I was like, it works. He's a Nintendo guy. It works.
Okay, what was your disagreement? You had something.
Look, I love Nintendo. I love The Legend of Zelda.
It was the only
I'm
good
okay
game
with
they had
Mario,
at launch,
but I don't think they had the strongest
They
launch
did not.
window. I think it was
That window was
really
wide.
bad.
It was bad.
They had
agree.
it was
I disagree
like the
with that
big
because-
names. The big
Go
names
ahead.
were Breath of the Wild, obviously, which again, I'm a Zelda fan. I did my research on the damn game. That was supposed to be a Wii U game.
It was. That's why it was so good because, well, not because it was coming to Wii U, but because it was developed as like the swan song of like a console that just happened to come to launch.
But I'll move past that. Whatever.
Yes,
but
let's
yeah,
go.
they had Breath of the Wild, they had Odyssey, and then Mario Kart doesn't count.
It
Mario
does,
Kart-
as a matter of fact,
Mario
a
Kart
lot of
was-
those games
No.
don't count because they are
No.
literally
Hold
all
up.
just ports.
They do count, and I'll tell
They're
you why they
literally
count.
all ports.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe may not be a new game, but it still came out in the launch window, and it is still the #1 selling game on Switch
And it's
right
still
now.
a port.
It's still a port, but it sold well.
Fine, if that
people
counts,
bought
that's
it.
why
I'm
Spider-Man
not talking
can...
about quality or where when it came out.
It
I'm talking
doesn't-
about people bought a Switch and bought that. And I
It's
would also
not a
add
launch
that a lot of
title at
people didn't have.
all.
People didn't have Wii U, so they bought Mario Kart 8 as like
It's
their
not
first
a
way of
launch
playing that
title.
game.
Well, I mean, you can't really go by how many people buy things, because look how many people bought No Man's Sky. I'm
Oh
one
my
of them.
God.
That's
I
different
can't go-
entirely. No Man's Sky
Right.
now is not the same game it was when it launched.
Yeah.
You can't look. I'm actually gonna agree with Gabe for once in my life. I think a lot of and even the first year of Switch was just a lot of ports, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think Mario Kart 8 on the Switch is great. I was hoping that we would get something cool like a new Double Dash or some shit with the Switch.
Exactly.
But it was just a port, and
That's
a
not
lot of what they gave us has just been ports.
I wasn't saying the games were bad. I'm just saying.
So I would not include them as launch titles because
But
it's like
I was up.
if we did that, we would literally have to include Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man remastered as a launch title for PS5.
Yeah, and I'm not counting that because that's not fair. But
And to be fair, I'm gonna play one last devil advocate because you're absolutely right. The difference was with like all these ports is that like a lot of people had a PS4, I agree with remaster being cheap because a lot of the Spider-Man PS4 is like one of the best selling games on that system. Absolutely, no one had a Wii U at all. All these Switch games. I know that's a huge technicality. But like these are like new ass games to like most people who have the Switch.
Doesn't make it a new game just because it's new to a lot of
I
people.
agree, it doesn't. I'm just saying.
Brendan is fighting for Nintendo right now. I appreciate it.
For most people who bought a Switch, that's all I'm saying. Oh, almost dropped my water.
And with that, my dogs are getting restless, so we're going to end this podcast. Thank you guys for talking to me for another week.
Ow.
Come back next week where we're going to be dressed up for Halloween for a cool Halloween episode. We got some hopefully fun things planned. It's going to be all about spooky stuff. And of course, we're going to continue console casters. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoy our video cast along with the podcast. Make sure you watch us, also listen to us, and like, subscribe, rate us, all that great stuff. Thank you for everyone who continues to listen. And I'm going to go handle my dogs now. So, bye, everybody!